Live from Kentucky and Louisiana, two Marines, one mission. This is Sense and Senseless. From the hills to the bayou, stories collide. Brothers in arms, now we're side by side. Sense and Senseless, we cut through the noise. Two Southern Marines with that rebel voice. Grab a seat, pour a drink, let's make some sense. Or none at all, it just depends. Sense and Senseless.
Welcome back to Sense and Senseless. I'm Bryan.
Jason.
And he's Jason. This week we have a great show lined up for you. First of all, welcome all 2026.
Yep. New year.
Happy New Year. This week we'll be following a money trail through scandals, power plays, and the creeps watching your every move. Tonight we'll be exposing it all. First up, the explosive Minnesota fraud scandal. Billions of your tax dollars vanishing in the ghost daycares or fake programs, mostly tied to Somali networks. We'll dive into NGO roles in resettlement and how they're allegedly gaming the system, and why this playbook is spreading to states like Maine, Ohio, Michigan, and Washington. Is this the tip of the iceberg? You bet. The FBI is surging in. Then General Flynn's bombshell ex-post demanding 2026 as the year of accountability. He's firing at Trump and the cabinet. Drain the swamps or watch your legacy burn. How AI is spying on you everywhere, from store cams, tracking your every linger and grab, to online shopping, jacking prices based on your clicks, to social media algorithms, reading your mind and predicting your next rage scroll. We'll also discuss the big three: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. These trillion-dollar titans own chunks of everything, pull strings on agendas, and bet on every side to always win. Is this an illusion of choice? Total scam. How is this even illegal? And we'll wrap up with a battle of the sexes in tennis. This episode should have something for everyone, so relax, grab a drink, and let's get into it. But first, I want to give a shout out to the Trump administration for sticking up for Christ. Yeah, I haven't heard the Trump administration pretty much brought Merry Christmas back into the forefront of the government. For example, the presidential message was celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the gift of God's only begotten Son. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, stated, today we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And then Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the joyous message of Christmas is the hope of eternal life through Christ. But the Washington Post criticized it with an article, and they were saying that it was diverging from secular Santa and reindeer norms and accused promotion of Christian nationalism. But White House spokesman Abigail Jackson states, while the Washington Post would prefer happy holidays, we're saying Merry Christmas again. Christmas is a Christian holiday, celebrating the birth of their Savior, whether the Washington Post likes it or not. Bravo.
Good job.
What do you think about that, Jason?
I like it. I mean, it's like, it's trying to, there's all these other holidays for all this other stuff. You got MLK Day, you've got Columbus Day, you have like Hanukkah, you got Kwanzaa, you got all these other religious holidays, and nobody tries to tell you to say happy holiday on Kwanzaa. That it's okay to say happy Kwanzaa. So why is it not okay to say Merry Christmas? I mean, it's a Christian holiday. It is what its meaning is the birth of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So leave it alone. If you don't like it, you don't have to celebrate it. People like getting that day off for it, don't they?
Oh, yeah, multiple days. And what I don't understand is how they always refer back to Christian nationalism, the Christian nationalists. Like we're some kind of
Terrorist
rogue
group.
gang or something. Yeah, terror group is like
Yeah.
really, or some Christians probably, bad. Yeah, I'm not going to say they're not, but to label everyone of the Christian faith as a Christian nationalist,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Well, it's like, shame on the Washington Post. Just shut up, dude. I mean, this is America. Leave it alone. Why are you still trying to stir hate?
yeah, I agree with that statement. But being America, they do have the right to their own opinion. But I agree with what you said. I mean, why, especially at Christmas time? Why do we have to
Mhm.
stir shit at Christmas time?
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point in the year, can everyone just be happy for a little while?
You just want to go to whoever these editors or whoever's coming up with this crap's houses, and if they got decorations up, just bust up in there and take them down. Be like, nope, none for you.
Well, these people that are writing this stuff, they're probably so unhappy. I doubt they have decorations of anything. They probably just on the computer all day long, just hate watching everyone, just being
Right.
mad at the world just because they're still alive. Blaming the world that all their problems, and they didn't have any decorations. They're
Well,
probably lonely. No one wants to be around them anyway. They're just
yeah.
miserable ass people.
Yeah.
Got
Well,
about
and then
50
Christmas
cats.
has become a lot. It always has been. We're trying, our preacher does a good job during the season leading up to it to try to get everybody refocused on the true meaning of Christmas. But people make it a lot more than what it is, like about presents and gifts and spending a ton of money, all that stuff. And I know businesses like don't want to hear us talking to people and say, hey, stop doing that. The whole gifting thing comes from the wise men bringing Jesus gifts after they heard of his birth. But to be honest, they did not find him in Bethlehem when he was born. The shepherds did. That was the only people outside of Mary and Joseph that showed up right when he was born, because they were right outside, tending their sheep out in the fields. The wise men traveled. I'll have to look it up. I think it's like he was like 6, 7 years old by the time they found him and gave him gifts. And
Oh,
what's
really?
funny, and the gifts that they gave him were actually burial gifts, like frankincense and myrrh and some other stuff. And that stuff that's used to clean the body, it's what's put on the body after a death. So it's that's
That's
kind of
odd. Why would they bring them that?
because he was going to die for our sins. So they were already
So they,
gifting.
they so they brought a 5-year-old stuff to cleanse his body to die for your sins.
Yeah.
It's kind of morbid.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's just you
It
don't
is
learn.
when you think about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
we all
don't.
know we're gonna die, but they don't. When you're born, they don't bring you that shit, and every one of us is gonna die. Like, here you go. One day you're gonna die. You're gonna need this shit.
Yeah, it like frankincense was like for spiritual and aromatic. I think what it was used like because bodies start decomposing and the smell or whatever. So I think that is it's kind of like a
Perfume.
fragrance, yeah, that was put, and I can't remember. So frankincense and myrrh are precious aromatic tree resins harvested from boswellia and commiphora trees, famously known as gifts from the Magi, which are the wise men to baby Jesus, symbolizing Christ's divinity and mortality. Both have long histories in religious ritual, perfumes, and medicines, offering warm, spicy scents with use in aromatherapy, cosmetics, and spiritual practices today, often blended. But it's theology kind of states that these gifts were basically stuff for funeral, like for burial.
That's
They didn't bring him like gold they didn't bring him like
well. Why
gifts.
didn't that become a tradition at 5 year at your 5 year Christmas or your 5 year birthday? You get stuff to get you ready for death.
I don't know. It wasn't ever taught to us like that when I was
No,
growing
I
up. I
agree with
didn't.
you, but I mean, you would think that back then, Mary, Joseph, and the shepherds, and then the wise men show up, right? And then that would create everyone would know what was brought to Jesus, and then they might want to give their kids the exact same thing that Jesus got, and then a tradition starts that everybody gets the death rattle.
Yeah.
5 years old.
Yeah, see, myrrh was used as an embalming spice and pain reliever.
All right. So how
So
did we get here?
we were talking about Christmas. Like you
Okay.
were giving a shout out before we start our
Yeah.
agenda here with the
And okay.
Minnesota fraud.
And you would
Like
talk
the
buying
yeah,
shit.
well, I'm just talking how even Christians and the world Christmas isn't always what it, to me, it's about family coming together, love, and you know what I'm saying? Just togetherness. And I've always kind of pushed that with my family and my wife's family. Like they just get so hung up on buying gifts. I'm like, why is an adult buying another adult a gift?
No one get me. Like if me and you gonna trade gifts every year, and you're gonna spend $50 on me, and I'm gonna spend $50 on you, why don't you just keep your fucking money and buy what you want?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I
It's
mean,
pretty simple.
one year my sister-in-law bought me scratch off tickets, like 20 or $25 worth of scratch off tickets. Guess what? I won $2.
But you had the chance to win a bunch.
Will you shut up? I
Well,
won $2, Brian.
what if she would have bought you a sweater that you would have never wore? Would you have been happier with the scratch off tickets or the
No,
sweater that you would have never worn?
the sweater.
Would you?
Yeah.
Because of you think it had more meaning behind it than the scratch
Yeah.
off ticket?
Yeah. You
Maybe
know,
she thinks you got a gambling mind frame, state of mind.
yeah, I don't care for scratch off tickets. Sorry. People, why can't we just come together, play games, eat good food and fellowship? Thoughts on it? Do you think it's ignorant for grown people to be buying grown people stuff?
I do, unless it's your parents. I still like to buy my parents things.
Right.
I don't give anybody presents really for Christmas. I give everybody money. I'm not going to look for something for you. I don't want to think inside your head on what the fuck you might want. So here you go. Here's some money. Go buy whatever the fuck you want. That's
Yeah.
just me. And I don't like how it's all commercialized the way you're saying it. I used to enjoy everyone go to grandma's house, or you go to a family member's house and everybody got together, and it was a good time. You got to be with
Mhm.
all the family and all. And I really enjoyed that. But now it is very commercialized.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's anything we can do about that. I mean, that's just the way it is now.
Right.
The economy would have to go completely down, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago that just consumers alone, 80% of our GDP, and how we just a wasteful country. I mean, just throw shit away. How many kids got toys this year that probably still had toys from last year that were never open?
Right.
And they're going to have toys from this year that they're either going to outgrow before they open them, or they're not going to open them, and they're
Right.
going to end up in a landfill. And I mean, that's your money. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. Spend your money however you want. But I know how the circle goes because I was in that circle. I used to take the kids' toys and I'd put them in the attic, and I didn't want to throw them away all of a sudden just in case they decided they missed it. Then I can
Right.
go in the attic and get it, and I'd find it, and hey, here's your toy. Well, if it went a couple months and they didn't miss it, it was going to the landfill. And a lot of times that I was at the landfill, I was actually able to separate the toys from the other stuff I was throwing away, and people actually took it back home with them.
Right.
People that was at the landfill, they would grab it, and I was like, they were good toys. But I know what gets thrown away, and that's just a small. I mean, I wasn't buying a lot. I can imagine what's in some of these houses.
And then there was one on TikTok that it kind of reminded me of the no contact crap that I've been talking about here and there, but it was this girl and her son that was like 6, 7 years old, and they were over at her mom and dad's, and I guess she had some nieces and nephews, and her mom and dad bought them like nicer gifts and more than he got, and she's videoing him throwing a fit because he realized that he got lesser amount and however you want to say it, like money wise and the number of gifts that his cousins got.
Was the
And
son?
that, yeah, the little boy. So she was videotaping him crying because I think he wanted like some kind of dinosaur set or something like that. And one of his cousins got it. He didn't get it. He got some cheap thing or whatever from her parents, kind of like they were playing favoritism, and she posted it and then she took it down because her family gave her crap about it. but that thing blew up, and the comments in there was crazy. I mean, it's like,
How can you be so detached that you're gonna promote something of your family in distaste like that?
I know that's what I'm getting at. This new generation has no qualms on posting anything on social media. I'm not taking up for abuse and anything like that, but they don't care to post anything on social media. Like there's no privacy at home at all with these kids. Like from 30 on down, they'll post it. And the problem is, and she'll probably listen to this later and she'll probably get on to me about it. But we're me and my wife just turned 50 last year. It starts rubbing off on older people where they're doing it too.
Yeah, I get that.
We would never think about doing it. Now we're doing it because the younger generation is. So if you want to be,
I don't think they're doing it because of the younger generation. I think they might be doing it
because it's there
because
and available.
yeah, I mean it's becoming normalized, which it
Yeah.
shouldn't be, you know?
Yes.
And no matter who does it, it shouldn't be normalized. And that is just and I'm not a spiritual person, but that to me that's just the devil at work.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes and no. I seen a preacher today or the other day talking about that we give the devil too much credit. Like, or it was a comedian, it was a Christian comedian talking about that this woman was like, "Oh, the devil's been all over me. You know, Jesus told me or God told me to lose some weight, and the devil's been really getting at me every time I pass Taco Bell. Boy, he just puts the lure on me and tries to get me there, and I've cheated a couple times." And he's like, "Listen, God is omnipresent. He is everywhere at all times and all knowing. The devil is not. And there's only so many demons, really." He said, "Do you think these demons are like, hey, we got all these big things going on, but hold up, hold up, hold up. We need to get Susie and Taco Bell real quick. So hold on a second. We're going to put all this other stuff on hold to get Susie." No, that's your weak mind. That's your own self. That ain't stop giving the devil credit where you're the one failing because we're given as Christian or, if you believe in God, we're given the ability to make our own decisions, right? Free will. He doesn't
So
force us to do anything. So, I mean,
so
a lot of this
who
stuff is us
if
doing
the
stuff.
if evil or the devil's not doing it, then who is pulling the Christians away from the Christian beliefs and showing their family in a light that way?
It's us. It's our will doing it. It's us not being
So we have no
disciplined.
beliefs in nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're playing into his stuff. Don't get me wrong. This is what he wants, but we're like, it's like marijuana. I have no problems with marijuana, but it's a gateway drug for a lot of stuff, right? That's what it became. Marijuana was not that big of a deal, but then you got cocaine, then you got crack, then you got meth, then you got all this other stuff, fentanyl.
But can we prove that people that do marijuana go to crack and cocaine, or would you just say it's a gateway drug because that's just what people told us?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what it just kind of opened the door. Just like social media opened the door. Social media can be a good thing, Brian, because like we said, now we can all communicate and see views of other people now that we couldn't before. Because remember, I think in one of the very first episodes, we talked about how we only knew what we knew from where we grew up at, right?
Yep.
Now
Yep.
that you got social media and internet, you're actually seeing stuff outside your realm and your eyes are being open to stuff because this stuff we're fixing to cover, I guarantee this has been going on in the 30s and the 40s for a long time. So, but I'm just saying, it blows my mind what people will post on social media.
Oh, I think social media is a good thing. I think it's a real good thing.
It
But
is, but I'm talking like if you and Jennifer got in a fight and her sitting there recording your
no, that
argument and then
yeah,
and
no,
then putting it on TikTok. They're
yeah, no.
doing that.
That's what I'm getting. That's just
That's
it's
disrespectful.
very disrespectful. But how did that become normal? I have no idea. And the only thing I can say is the devil made him do it.
The,
So
the devil, the devil, the
it was the
foosball.
devil.
It
It was
was
the
the
devil.
devil. But
All right, let's move on. We're going to
anyway,
talk
yeah,
about
let's get on our
all this
subject.
all this money that this fraud is taken from us and the taxpayers down in Minnesota, and it's in more areas. If you haven't heard, there's this big case of fraud going on in Minnesota, mostly by the Somali American community. And I'm not going to say they're all bad. I mean, you can't quantify everyone and say, put them in a box and say they're all bad. But the ones that they're finding is mostly Somalian American. So that's the reason we're going to go with that. So the funded programs included Medicaid, child care assistance program, autism services, housing subsidies, and food aid. The state hosts the U.S. largest Somali American community of 80 to 100,000 people. They were resettled as refugees since Somalia's 1990s civil war. Now, what the prosecutors estimating is that it was a $9 to $10 billion stolen since 2018 across 14 programs. Potentially over half of the $18 billion spent. This was all labeled as an industrial scale fraud schemes. It involved fake daycares billing for non-existent children, phony autism centers, and a sham meal sites, with funds laundered through shell companies, luxury buys, and for overseas transfers. So they estimate $9 to $10 billion stolen in the
Yeah.
last 7 years. That's a lot of fucking money. That
Mhm.
the one of them they say the feeding our future. This one was from 2022 to 2025, and it has 250 to 300 million in COVID era child nutrition funds diverted via a nonprofit network. And then the recent daycare autism fraud one, as of December 2025, there was 98 plus individuals charged, mostly Somalian Americans. There's 57 to 60 plus convictions and $48 million in restitution. Notable examples include jewelry robbery attempts of $120,000 cash bags and 10-year prison sentences. And like you said, it's probably been going on a long time. And I'm not saying that the FBI and our government wasn't watching this, but it took a YouTuber by the name of Nick Shirley to expose it.
Mhm. Yeah, it was somebody not even affiliated with the government or
Or
law
mainstream media.
enforcement. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, where was these people? I mean, where are these investigative journalists,
yeah.
breaking the big stories? And I'm not saying that Nick Shirley didn't do his due diligence and he's not a good reporter, because evidently he is, because he found all this.
Right.
But the mainstream media, these are $1 billion companies, I would assume. If not multi-million-dollar companies, I'm sure they have more money than what Nick Shirley had, and they couldn't uncover this.
Well,
And
yeah, because where are they getting that money, Brian?
I agree with you. I understand. Yeah,
They're
but
paid not to report on this.
that is just sad. It is sad the way that had to shake out. And
Yeah, I know.
no, I still don't see anyone, really reporting on it. I think they had to, because it became I'm gonna say big hit. It would have went viral on social media. The mainstream media had to, they had to look at it and say, "Hey, look, we got a problem over here." But
Yeah,
I don't think it was more than a couple of days they reported on it.
yeah, but I think that I seen a funny meme on TikTok about CNN. Basically, they were told that they went over there to lightly investigate and was told, "Oh, that's not going on here." And they're like, "Oh, okay," and went back and said, "No, this isn't real," because they told us it wasn't real. Even though this dude uncovered all, I mean, that's just how CNN is in some of these places like MSNBC and
So
I know
that
Fox.
was real.
I do believe, dude, they're not making
Okay,
a big deal about it. Dude, that's a lot of money.
that's a
And
lot of
this is
money.
just scratches, Brian, this is just what he found.
Oh yeah, that's the tip of the iceberg right there. And yeah, and people, you got to understand, this is your money. This is your
It,
fucking money.
it's the people at CNN's money. And MSB, any tax-paying American, this is your money. And as a journalist, your job should be to uncover the truth, no matter which way it falls, to uncover fraud and expose, no matter who you're exposing. Stop leaning towards a certain side.
Yeah, all mainstream media need a quit. They need to go back out and just be investigative they
Reporters.
should have investigative journalists on each staff
Right.
and go out
Yes.
and find stuff that the people, don't know about. The things that they're trying to dig for, it's the same shit.
And
You know,
put
they
it
don't
out there fair and unbiased and let the American people that watch your crap make their decision on what they believe.
exactly. We don't need your
Stop
spin.
trying to woo me to a side and brainwash. I'm tired of it, man. Do your job.
Yeah, they used to say that, they were scared that AI was gonna lie to you, but they're scared that, because AI gives you the truth and they don't want you to have that truth, and that scares the shit out of them.
Right. Well, what the AI is all built on coding also, right? So if you just let it do its thing, yes, it's going to tell the truth. But if you go in there and push it one way, right? If you only feed it so much information, it's going to go off the information it's fed. That's what I feel with the AI.
It can go, yeah, you're right that way. The
Yes.
problem is you get multiple ones and they can start checking them. Well, they'll check themselves. You can
Yes.
go in and check one against the other, and it's so much easier today to find the truth than it's ever been,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. Because
in your life.
yeah, because people that want to tell the truth can code AI also. So not just the cover up people can do it like Facebook or these big, I'm sure
Well,
Elon Musk has one, right?
Or AI only also learns from you, and
Yes.
it learns from everything. It's pulling in
Yes.
data from everywhere. It's not just
Yes.
someone coding it. So yes,
Yes.
can it be driven one way when it's first built? Yes, but eventually it's gonna find the truth as long as it's
Yep.
allowed, to go that way. And I believe that the more popular AIs, like Grok, I think that those are gonna continue that way. If not, I mean, people just quit using them.
Right.
It's too easy to check the report through multiple AI apps to see exactly what's right, and then use Google. And there's so many references that you can get to figure out, exactly what you want.
Right.
You shouldn't have to just listen to mainstream media. Again, though, you shouldn't need, a YouTuber to go out there and break this information to everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be embarrassing for ABC, NBC, CNN, Fox, all of them. It should be embarrassing for all of them for someone to go out there and do the work that they should be doing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Some little peon.
Yeah, and he might not even be a peon. I don't know. I don't know what Nick Shirley has.
Well,
He
okay. So it's like me and you at our company where we sit, we're in leadership, but we're at the low end of leadership. We'll say we uncovered bad stuff in our company, right? And brought it to the CEO's attention.
yeah.
Why you think if he was like, "Holy cow, man, good job. I had no idea, blah blah blah." You think some heads would roll in between him and us? Why is this supervisor down here, this field supervisor, how was he able to uncover all this and none of you guys were able to?
Yeah.
You think that yeah, like, that's embarrassing. I mean, you wouldn't want that to get out, and
No.
people still watching that stuff. I mean, I think it's gonna get to a point where, we be searching for these smaller investigating reporters like him, and those are the people we wanna watch and see what they're talking about and what you see what I'm saying?
Oh,
Kinda
I know
like they're not
exactly what you're
they're not
saying.
bought off yet.
I mean, I follow multiple small investigative journalists on multiple platforms,
Right.
and I still check their work. And I think you should check everybody's work. I really do. I don't
Mhm.
think today, especially today, you have more information at your hand and you can get everything that you want. But we don't ever check what we're hearing, so we'll see it, people will hear TikTok and that's the gospel now. No, check it out. Check out, see what these guys are actually saying is true. And majority of the time, you're gonna find some good guys out there that are giving you the correct information. When I say guys, I mean men and women. I don't want to have to say guys and gals. It's just fucking stupid to me. But anyway, I think you could find some good guys out there that's gonna give you the information that that's truthful and worth
Right.
hearing, and help them. I mean, follow them. Give them what they need to where they can grow if they're gonna tell you the truth. There's no reason, not to help these people out.
Right.
So, so how did we get here? And these guys just didn't show up one day. We had to bring them here, and a lot of ways we get people here, and especially like we got them through the southern border, was through NGOs. And a NGO, a non-government organization, which is oddly stated, is a private nonprofit entity operating independently from the government. It's focused on humanitarian aid, advocacy, and social issues. In the US, around 1.5 million NGOs handle tasks like education and service delivery, often funded by grants. Now, they do have legitimate roles through public and private partnership. The federal government contracts 9 major voluntary agencies and NGOs like Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, Catholic Charities, International Rescue Committee, with the State Department and Office of Refugee Resettlement. And they do, I'm not gonna say they're all bad, but there are some that's, they on the take. I mean, we'll go over that in another week, but right now I'm just explaining what the NGOs are. And the reason why I'm doing that is because NGOs had helped the Somali immigrants resettled to Minnesota. And from what I read, the NGO selected Minnesota for its robust welfare and jobs in sectors like manufacturing. Groups like LIRS and local affiliate Arrive Ministries handled placements and paperwork for programs like CCAP and Medicaid. We have these NGOs that are settling in these places to make sure that they get the most possible they can, from what I'm seeing, from the American people. So there was federal funds and federal grants around $2,000 to $3,000 per refugee, and state funds promote self-sufficiency. But critics argue this incentivizes higher resettlement volumes for more revenue. So they're paying these NGOs $2,000 to $3,000 per refugee in the grants. So how is that not incentivizing you to bring more people over? I mean, that so the more people
Well,
you bring over, the more money you make. But we don't want to. That's don't incentivize you to bring more people over.
yeah. Well, what's crazy is I just think about it. Somalia, what do you think of?
On a shithole, a desert, or
Well, yeah,
just
yeah, but hot,
yeah,
nasty. Minnesota, what do you think of? Cold.
fucking freezing. Yeah,
Yeah, I just looked up the average temperature between Somalia and Minnesota. It's crazy. I mean, why would you want to fill Minnesota full of Somalians? I mean, that's not
but
even their climate area. Why wouldn't they throw them in Texas or Arizona or New Mexico? You know what I'm saying? Somewhere a little bit more apt to their weather that they're used to. Why Minnesota? I'm just going there, Brian, because seems like they're handpicked to do something.
they were
See,
put there. I mean, from what I read, because of their lenient welfare system.
yes, and then the other thing too is I heard that they were flooded in areas or whatever to get people like that Omar woman voted in, and you know what I'm saying? Some of these other people voted.
Yeah, I don't know if she was part of the resettlement. I don't know how she got there. Yes, would assume that with that many of Somalians in that area and she's Somalian, it would get her put in office. But I'm not really sure exactly if she was there first. She was part of the relocation. Was she born here? I don't know a whole lot about Omar. I see her, but I
Yeah,
don't.
just I don't. This is, and then they use these outfits like NGO, like Lutheran. That's a Christian, Catholic. They're all have a little bit of Christian ties or some kind of Bible or Bible or religion. So it's kind of like it's a shield of, oh, we're not going to look at them. They're doing good stuff.
That they on the up and up.
Yeah, like Samaritan's Purse that goes out and helps catastrophes like that Mayfield tornado and Dawson Springs or whatever. That's Billy Graham's outfit.
Yeah, they were down here after Hurricane Laura and
Katrina.
Delta.
Yeah, and then the other ones, yeah. They go all over the place for these big natural disasters and help rebuild these areas. And it's a good thing. But I hate saying it. I guarantee if you start digging, there's some funds in that too, right? I mean, If you get the shovel out and you start digging, you're going to find corruption in about anything you touch.
Yeah, I think the way these laws are, they spread out, especially when you start looking at churches and NGOs.
Yes.
There's a lot of fraud that I would see this happening in all of these, and I did look in some of the churches, and the amount of churches that they have in this country is unbelievable. I
Right.
think it was like 400,000 churches or something like that, and that's something else we'll go over. But yes, I can see how there's fraud in a lot of, and it's because, like you just said, is just people look at it and think, it's church, it's got to be on the up and up, but
Yeah.
can't believe
I mean,
all of them are.
we're passing the offering plate around in church to take up funds for some of this stuff, right? And you're like, okay, well, I guess if we're collecting at church for this, then it must be a good thing and this and that. And that's crazy the amount of money, dude. And it wasn't even like there was no childcare. Like
No,
all
yeah,
those rooms, there was nothing.
people were just gone. There was nothing
Yeah.
there, and it was one of the signs. It was spelled wrong. It was like LEARING. Wasn't an N in it for
Yeah.
learning center.
Yeah.
It's going into the learning center. It was
The
yeah, it was just a lot.
learning. Yeah. Making up our own words. And
But
nobody's, I mean, what our head's going to roll.
probably not. So the allegations, they say some claim, just going back to the NGOs, some claim that NGOs exceed legal aid by teaching and maximizing the benefits, providing application scripts, or ignoring red flags. Frost, fraud often involves Somali run nonprofits with indirect ties to resettlement networks. Voices like Stephen Miller and congressional hearings accuse NGOs of fostering dependency and enabling fraud pipelines for financial gain. There has to be a lot of help for these people, and I might get some hate on this, but I can't believe that these people did this on their own. And I did some search, and from what I found, it does state that the Somali people are very resourceful, and they do have corruption, back in Somalia, and it's not a hard game to run based off of how lenient the welfare system is. Okay,
Mhm.
I can take that point. I'm not going to argue that point. If it was just, I'll say $1 million, okay, I would accept that. But when you're looking at billions of dollars, you can't make me believe those people are smart enough to run a system like that. So you
No.
start digging into it, and the average IQ of the Somali people is 67.67. Okay. The average IQ.
Mhm.
The average IQ score across the world, they use an average IQ is 100. That's what they use. And with scores between 85 and 115 considered normal, while genius level often starts around 130 to 140 and above. Though classifications vary and below average scores fall at under 85, with scores below 70 indicating potential intellectual disability or impairment. So these people are at 67.7 on average,
Mhm.
which is below 70 to most people, you
Right.
know, and most when most people math.
Right.
Now, these people that are borderline disabled,
Mhm.
I'm just going to be nice. They borderline disabled. They came up with this massive fraud scheme to take away what it was. How many billions of dollars was that? Let me go back up here.
18 or
Nine to
no, 9 to
10,
10 billion.
$9 to $10 billion over 7 years.
Mhm.
So over $1 billion a year they were able to take. That's
Ye
what I'm supposed to believe.
Yeah, because they're like that employee that you got that plays stupid all the time, but they're not. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
they're just playing.
They just can't take tests. That's the reason why,
Yeah,
you
they
know.
they struggle with tests, but they're actually really smart with money. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
dude. If it was India, like the Patels and all that, that own all the gas stations and all that, hey, I'd totally be like, "Yep, they worked us." But no, not these people. They're just pawns.
Well, okay. India, just to give you a baseline, India is at 82. They their IQ average is 82.
Yeah, well, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, watch them dudes at a gas station. They know how to make money.
I'm not saying, but do you see them making billions of dollars?
Yeah. Dude, they're
Billions.
doing some dude, they're doing something over here because they're buying up all the dang gas stations. I mean,
Do you
even in
realize
the
how much
podunk areas.
$1 billion is? I think we're losing the realm of money.
Well, I'm just saying that if they were involved in this type of deal, I could better understand
Got you.
because
Okay.
of their
They're not
work
making
ethic
billions of
and
dollars with the gas station if they were
no, they're
involved in
not.
this.
Yes,
Okay.
but if they
Got you.
were into this, then I could say, okay, them dudes know how to do a business, right? Hotels. I mean, they got their hands in everything. But Somalians, come on, dude. Them dudes couldn't even feed themselves over there. That's why we were over in Mogadishu and all that.
So just so everyone knows, the United States is at 97.43 on average, which is we're not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
So
But
if
we're
you're
still
wondering,
30 points higher than Somalians.
yes,
And I ain't
yes,
making no 9 to 10. When did you make 9 to 10 billion? Where's that money at, Brian? I've been waiting for you to tell me that you've got a lot of money and you just been testing my to make sure that I'm that I've always got your back even if you're broke. And you're gonna send me a big fat check.
yeah, I'm
You yeah, yeah. But I mean, dude, this is politicians, man. This is
I think it's rooted deeper than what it says
yeah,
it is, and that's the reason why mainstream media wasn't in looking into this.
yeah.
And these poor Somalis, and I'm not even gonna say that these Somali people, that they're gonna take the rap for this.
Gonna
They're gonna
load
be
them
the
up and
fall
ship
guy.
them back.
Yep, they're gonna ship them out, and it's just gonna be cut and dry. This is what happened. Take them out of here. Nothing to see here. This
Yeah.
everything is just cut and dry. Nothing to see here.
Like on Naked Gun, I don't know if you remember watching the Naked Guns when that van crashed into the firework building and Frank Drebin was out on the bullhorn with all these fireworks blowing up. Nothing to see here. Please leave. Nothing going on here.
Yeah, that's where we're getting on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. And
Everything.
we're dumb too because we're like, "Oh, okay, there's nothing to see here. I guess I'll flip channels.
Well, yeah.
We'll forget
I
it.
don't know.
Brian, I hate to say it. I won't think about this next week.
No, because there's so much information that's steadily flying, and this
Yeah,
don't directly affect you, even though it's the
it
government
does.
that's our money. It
It is.
doesn't directly affect you. If you saw this coming out of your bank account and it
Yep.
wasn't like
Yeah.
part of the taxes, then everybody would,
We'd be up
But
there with that cat that was investigating,
oh
beating
yeah,
down doors. Yeah. Where's my money?
but yeah, since we don't see it, okay, it's somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
But
My
it's
check
really
ain't
not.
changed.
No, exactly. But these people are just, and I keep saying these people. I mean, it might not. The Somalis might have taken the money out, but I don't think it ended up in their hands.
I thought
You
there
know,
was some prosecuting attorney or whatever that they found out that there was ties to some money he got for his campaign.
I don't know. Ties to the prosecuting attorney's campaign.
But there's a possibility of it.
Well, there's a possibility it could be linked to a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. I think it is. I think it's tied to a bunch of, like we were talking about, money laundering.
Yeah, and it more than likely is. The problem is though, like we were just talking about, the Somali people that's there, they're going to take the brunt.
Yes.
You
They're
know,
not they're not doing that for that. They're
like those
being
ladies that
used.
was, yeah, those ladies that was shutting the door on the reporter.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't believe that they have $1 billion.
No.
They are working there, probably getting paid a wage and told, that they're going to get paid to do nothing, and they probably should say something. I'm not going to say that they're in the clear because they're
Yeah.
doing something and getting paid for something they're not doing.
Yeah,
Having
but do
said
you
that,
think
they're
Somalia's
not.
got American values? They don't
Well,
care. They're
no,
just being told to do something to live there, and they're like, okay.
yeah. Well, I
I
guess
mean,
what I'm
if
getting
they
at
were
is the
told to traffic kids, they'd do it. They don't have. I guarantee them people don't have morals.
You think the women from Somalia would just traffic
Yes,
kids just because they
I
told? I don't know.
guarantee they would.
I
I'm
wouldn't think that
telling
they
you.
all pirates. You could hold on. I'm gonna bring this full circle because whenever we were doing a job down in Egypt a few years back, it might have been like in 2012, 2013, maybe a little later, and we sent some guys down to Egypt, and they went to Egypt and they didn't want to go back because there was a travel thing, a ban. And I'm talking to the people in Egypt, and I'm saying, hey, look, it wasn't a travel ban, but it was a travel advisory, and I'm explaining it to him, and he's like, look, he says it's not as bad as what they're saying. And I'm like, well, I can't do it. I know I want to trust you, but I can't do it. The guys don't want to go as a travel advisor. And he sent me clips from the US news. And at the time, we had a guy running through security in New Orleans airport with a machete. And he
Mhm.
sent me some stuff in New York. And he said, I can show you all day long what's going on in your country that's just as bad as what's going on here.
Right.
But yet you're going to condemn, you can't travel to my country to help me because of what you're seeing on the news, basically. And, and that opened my eyes like, you know what? We got a lot of bad shit going on around here, but we just see it as normal. It's the same thing, they see a lot of shit as normal. I don't believe that it's all of them because everything you see on the news is that you? Do you know those people running through the damn airport with a machete?
No.
But it reflects you to these other countries.
Yeah, I mean, it makes us all look bad if it's posted on the news.
So the same with Somalia. I can't say that they all don't have morals because the only
Um,
ones I know are the Somali pirates.
right, but Brian, if you go look at that area where they live, go live in that. I'm gonna release the language barrier. Go live in that shit box your whole life. Okay. And then all of a sudden we pick you up and fly yourself over to Minnesota and
Uh,
put you there. And we give you this is we're putting you here. This is what you're gonna do. They're not getting it for free. There was a catch to it, right? Kind of like a timeshare. When you sign up for a timeshare, there's a reason why they got lawyers to help you get out of those because they're scams, because there's a lot of stuff tied to it, right?
uh,
So they're like, listen, we're gonna take you out of this shithole you're in, and we're gonna bring you over here to beautiful Minnesota. You might want to buy a coat, by the way, because you've never felt cold like this before. But, anyways, we need you to work. That's what I'm saying. They brought those people in for a certain, not to help them out. Get over that crap. We weren't bringing them in to be nice. We were bringing them in to run this money laundering. I guarantee 9 to 10 billion. Where's it at, Brian? Like
oh,
you
I'm not.
said, they ain't got it. Them Somalians ain't making it.
I'm not arguing that. My point is I can't sit here and agree that they don't have morals. They all don't have morals. That they would
Yeah, but
run sex trafficking just
well,
because they're
no,
told to
I'm just
do it.
saying that they're doing this. They don't have no problem doing this.
I don't know if they know the scale of what they're doing.
That's what they don't understand.
Right. And that's because of what they're going to a job. I agree with they're going to a job, they're getting paid, okay. They know they're not doing anything and they should, maybe say something. And
But
they're
I'm
not
saying
because of the way or I'll give you that.
these third world countries, which they're one of, and these fourth world or whatever, these hellholes, they don't. If me selling my kid, pimping my kid out makes me money, they don't. All they know is that makes me money and it puts food on the table. They don't understand the moral value that that's wrong. Not everybody's taught that.
I don't think you
And
have
you
to be
talk,
taught that's a moral value though. I think that would
dude, I'm telling, it's taught. It's taught. Because you go to some of these countries, it's okay to do that. It's okay to molest kids. It's okay to treat women the way they treat women and treat people the way they treat people. That's just the way of life because they weren't taught morals. Morals are taught. You're not born. I promise you, Brian, you're not born with morals.
I would think
You're
the
taught
opposite.
morals.
No, I would think the opposite. because kids are probably the perfect being, in my opinion. A kid is a fresh canvas. So I think that you're born with good intentions. I think you're taught to be a bad person.
Well, then they're being taught that there's nothing wrong with that is what I'm getting at. Because go look at Africa where they kill the mom and the dad and then they grab the kid, right, and put a damn AK in a 7-year-old's hand and put them in the army.
Yeah, I understand that.
Where's your morals on that?
I'm not saying that I understand what you're saying
And
in that
Somalia is the
aspect.
same way.
What
Somalia
I'm get
had kids shooting at Americans over there during the
so do you think that every guy that's over there in Somalia or Africa or whatnot is a gangbanger because of what you've seen, or a terrorist shooting up every village and taking
I'm just
kids?
saying that they don't have the same morals as us. So this whole deal with them doing this, you can easily tell them to do anything, like shutting the doors on people or
No, I
I
agree with it in that
yeah,
aspect. Yeah.
okay. The governor Bashir can't come to my house and say, "Hey, Jason, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I got a business prop for you. We're gonna run these scam businesses here. You're gonna make $400,000." They're not paying them. In their mind, they're making that kind of money because of how they were in Somalia, right? $10,000 a year in U.S. money is probably $200,000 to a Somalian, right? So, or in our mind, it is just the ability to not live in that shithole that they were over there compared to where they're at now is a big upgrade. Agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. They're getting something and they're like, "Hey, this is all I got to do." Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I mean, they don't care, but Andy Bashir ain't going to come down anybody down my road. They'd have to find a very bad person in order to do this kind of stuff and do that. Well, our government's doing it, and a lot of people in our government is doing this kind of stuff. And they're
Oh
getting
no,
other people to do it. And I think that makes them feel better
they're
because we're
doing
getting,
this.
huh?
They're doing this. Our
I know that's
government.
what I'm saying, but in their mind, their hand isn't all over it. It's on it, but it's not all over it. They get somebody else to do it for them.
I agree that they probably brought some. So they have a leader of the Somali group. They giving that guy more money than they're giving everyone else, and he's giving money to these Somali people, and they're doing what they. So if they told them to shut the door on these people, don't let them in, they're doing it. I
Right.
agree with that, but I don't agree that they would do anything just to come over here. I just can't see that a woman, and I'm not going to say in general because there's a lot of bad women. I was actually reading on a couple bad ones that was actually part of the Holocaust. I mean, they
Right.
were worse than some of the men.
Right.
So women do have that in their nature. But when we put a statement saying that they don't have any morals and they would do anything, I just can't agree with that. I don't
Well,
agree with any blanket statements and stuff like that.
I'm not saying 100%, Brian. I'm saying a majority. Their morals are nowhere near what ours are as Americans.
Okay.
Just like what? Now, hold on. You put out the number for their IQ. Are you going to
Right.
say they're all 67? No, that's an average.
Right. And that's what I was trying
So
to
I'm
say.
going to say the average Somalian has nowhere near the moral compass that the average American has.
There
Can
you
we
go.
say that?
We can say that. I feel
Okay.
better saying that. Okay.
Okay. I'm never say 100% because you can't be 100% about nothing.
No,
I'm
I agree
just
with that.
saying, dude, you're giving these people an opportunity of a lifetime in their eyes. I mean, I don't know where it would be, what that would look like for us to take me out of Kentucky. Where would you put me to get me to really not give a crap what I'm doing for you just to take me out of the hellhole I'm at in Kentucky? You see what I'm saying? What
Yep.
I can't even fathom in my mind where that would, what I would sell myself to do.
Epstein
And
Island.
yeah, Epstein Island. But it's kind of like that movie that I
Hold
told you
on.
to watch, the with the Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, what sick person You know, that woman was involved, right? She was acting like she was a talent agent, you know, to get these kids for commercials or movies or whatever. And then she was helping. What kind of person? Women, men, they're all involved. That's disgusting.
You know, the type of person it is, it's the
What?
type that you said last week that hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
most of the time is someone that had something like that happen to them, so it becomes normal.
Right.
You know, it's
I mean,
normal.
I feel like if everybody was built with an internal moral compass, that would have to kick in. And I think some people, Brian, are just so taught that and numbed up to it that they don't have any value over life. They don't care about kids. They don't care about anything. They just care about themselves. Selfish. 100%
I
selfish.
agree with that. All right, so let's move on because we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Yes.
All right. So next thing I want to talk about, and that's General Flynn, General Michael Flynn and his ex post. I don't know how many people has actually even seen this. I don't think you've seen it until earlier tonight when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
But he dropped this Monday, and he was basically asking for a better 2026, and he pretty much put Trump on notice. So I was going to go ahead and instead of just hitting the highlights, I'm just going to go ahead and read it, and then we'll discuss it. And I know I don't read the best, but let's see what I can say. So so it had it says breaking
Tap
we
into
the
that
people.
97 IQ there, Brian.
That's right. Well, I'm probably lower to the fucking Somali rate.
Yeah.
I got a Louisiana education. It ain't much.
That's why you were being sensitive about me saying they didn't have morals. You're like, wait a minute, I got morals. You got a little
I might not
Somali
have
in you.
I got a low IQ, but I got morals.
I might not be a smart man, but I know what love is.
That's right. So it says breaking we the people demand accountability. So this was by Michael Flynn on posted early Monday. He said to Trump, I know you are listening to we the people. This message is sent on behalf of a very frustrated 79 million Americans who voted for you and the millions more who refused to be ignored. Therefore, we are designating 2026 as the year of accountability. Why now? Because the country is at its breaking point. He continued, our freedoms are being chipped away in plain sight. Our government has grown bloated, arrogant, and unaccountable. Public trust has not merely declined, it has been obliterated. Power has been stripped from the citizens and hoarded by bureaucrats, agencies, and unelected elites. Those who call themselves leaders protect each other, while the American people pay the price. Civic duty has vanished from classrooms, replaced by obedience and ideology. The family, once the backbone of this nation, has been systematically weakened and devalued. Enough is enough. At its core, this is not partisan. All Americans are demanding accountability. We, the people, reject the lies, the gaslighting, the censorship, and the deliberate erosion of our lived reality over the past decade. We remember what was done. We know who did it. We're no longer willing to move on without consequences. The message is unmistakable and unstoppable. Americans demand accountability. The question for you to answer is simple, Flynn told Trump. Will you stand with we the people, or will you protect the system that has failed us? Make 2026 the year of accountability. We will stand with you through thick and thin, like we've always have, but you must respect our wishes. If you don't, as our founders warned, if you don't, the deep state concentration of power in government will lead to the greater corruption and eventual tyranny. And your legacy in history will be tarnished beyond repair. Flynn ended this post by tagging multiple other prominent Trump cabinet members, including Vice President J.D. Vance, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, top Trump advisor Stephen Miller, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and Attorney General Pam Bondi. I thought that was pretty powerful. I think I agree with them.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know how you feel on that. I mean, I think a lot of people agree with them, and I hope that got through to Trump. I'm sure, they've read it. I don't know how, much he would take that into account, but I mean, we do want to see some accountability. We're tired of seeing they found this and they found that and nothing's happening to anyone. It's like, so why are we doing this?
Right.
If we're not going to arrest people.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, we put it back. I always have to lower it down to my level. So the government, like the presidency and all that in Washington is way up here, right? But I'm gonna bring it down here in my county. It'd be like them having all these things. Well, they did. They found our judge executive and somebody else in our county that was doing some fraudulent. They bought some stolen equipment and they knew it was stolen, and they were getting kickbacks for buying it, right? And
They'll get kickbacks for buying stolen equipment.
yeah, stolen equipment like backhoes and tracos
Oh,
and things like
goddamn.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
construction equipment.
yeah, construction equipment for like the county road department and things like that. And then what was sad was the judge executive, and he was younger than me. He ended up passing away. Like he just ended up dead. And
Like of natural causes or just
no, there
mysterious?
yeah, I don't know whatever fully came out. I don't know if it was like alcohol induced or whatever, but anyway, nobody, the
He
other dude
wasn't
that was
sick.
involved too, yeah, he wasn't sick.
Okay.
And it may have been the stress got to him, right? Because they were like the local news from Evansville was coming down here hounding the crap out of them and putting it on their news station and all that stuff. And I mean, you could tell that he was trying to say something and then they would snatch him up and pull him away because they were afraid he was going to say too much. And dude, we're just a little county, man. We're not that big. And this was going on, and then they had a court hearing for the guys that sold the equipment, and they were talking about the other dude that was involved in it too, making a comment, yeah, we all get in on this, or we all get paid. And supposedly he got some nice tires and rims for his personal truck out of it and some other stuff or whatever, but nobody got arrested.
Yeah, it's like how? How do you
It's
get
like
away with this type of shit?
the judge executive died and it went to bed with him. It died with him. So that kind of was suspect to me about that. I'm telling you, even these little counties have corrupt crap going on.
It's
But
everywhere.
I don't understand. Like this dude said, Trump ran both times on draining the swamp and exposing stuff and finding, they brought Doge in to find all this fraud. On this one,
Yeah.
they didn't on the first one. The first one, he came in to stir up the pot and make it hell on all these career politicians and
Yeah, I don't think
expose
he
all
knew
this
what he
stuff.
was doing the first time.
Well, I
This
think he
time,
came
I
in
think
with
he
good
does.
intentions, but I think when he got in there, he found out different. And then this time he's been different. He's been weird about some stuff.
Yeah, you would think that with him, well, just like he went in the first few months. I mean, he came in just guns a blazing,
Oh
and
yeah.
then it just
You remember Mad Dog went straight to bombing Syria or something. I mean, first day in.
No,
He
I'm talking
went
about like this one right now.
No, I'm talking about the first time Trump
No,
came
I'm
in.
talking about how he came in this time, and he shut the border down. And he was
Yeah,
he was opening all these investigations, and he was signing all these executive orders, and he had Doge going, and every day we heard of something else coming out,
right.
and then the brakes got pumped,
Yeah,
and yes, there was a lot of, back and forth with these judges in all these districts saying that this is unlawful and you can't do this. And I get all that. That slows you down. But we still should see some kind of progress. And if anyone should be doing it, it should be him because they went after this man for 10 years and he's still going after him. If he doesn't go after this and he doesn't try to drain this swamp and get rid of all this, who will? Because the amount of shit he put him through, they put him
right,
through, and him still to come out on top and have
right,
the platform to make this shit right. If somebody
right.
that he should be the one to do it.
Yeah, and has the backing of a majority of the American people.
Yes.
We will that like he said 79 million say enough.
Yeah.
Uh, There's enough people to back him up that won't allow the other government to do anything. I mean, dude, what he spent probably the 4 years he wasn't in office when Biden was in court
Oh
over
yeah.
stupid stuff. I mean, they tried to impeach him after he'd already lost to Biden.
And they said they'll try again if they gain the House back in
Yeah,
2026. Well,
like
this
they're
year.
trying to wipe his name off that he never was the president.
So
Even though he served his terms, they can't even leave that alone. They want it wiped clean. Kind of, it reminds me of a 300. I watched that the other night. So when old dude kicked the guy in the pit, I was like, "There's Brian kicking me in the chest." But anyways, Xerxes tells the Spartan king, if you don't bow to me, I will make sure that you guys never exist, that you never existed. I will burn all the books. I will cut out all the tongues of anybody that knows your name, that your name will never be mentioned and that nobody will ever remember you. And that's what they want, like Trump. They can't even let him just serve his term and get out of there. He's not done anything to be impeached.
no.
They keep making crap up. But
So
dude, he ran on that Epstein file stuff, and that got real weird.
that's really weird. Real fucking weird.
It's still weird. It's still weird because they're redacting stuff. Why
When
are
he
you
said that it was
redacting?
a hoax, it's like, I mean, even if you think that something weird happening, if you're the president, you seeing stuff behind the scenes, the last thing you want to say is it's a hoax.
How's it a hoax, dude?
Exactly.
That dude
Who?
supposedly killed him, hung himself. He went to prison, and his girl is still in prison. How's that a hoax? If it was a hoax, they wouldn't have gotten charged. And then, listen, we're talking about kids, like sex trafficking and stuff like that. Wasn't that all tied to that? But now the most I've heard about it was 17, 16, 17-year-old girls what are the only ones that are coming out. What about the kids? I heard there was kids, like kids, not, I'm sorry, a 16, 17 back in the day, back in the biblical days, and in the 1800s and 17s and 16s, for a long time, Brian, once you had your period as a girl, you were considered a woman.
I was just reading that the other day on the Muslims.
Yes. So that's not, we're the ones that tagged an age of 18 of being an adult, and come to find out, like Nebraska, my son's wife, she wasn't an adult at 18. She had to wait till she was 19 to get married without having her mom and dad consent to it.
But
That's what I'm getting at.
even if let's just say it was 16 to 17 years old, let's just assume that there was no kids. Okay. Jeffrey
That's
Epstein
still
was
bad.
arrested. It's still bad, but Jeffrey Epstein was arrested for what it was, sex trafficking, and then
Yes.
Ghislaine was arrested for sex trafficking, and
Yes.
they sex trafficked these girls, which were the victims.
Right.
Who the fuck they sex trafficked them to, and why aren't they in jail?
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we know at least a few names of who they sex traffic? So if they got arrested for sex trafficking, and there's victims of sex trafficking,
Right.
how can you have victims if you don't have who are these other names? Who are these people that they were sex trafficked? It has to
Yeah.
be someone.
Who's
It doesn't
what?
make any fucking sense.
Yeah. Who's the accused? You can't
Yeah,
have a crime without somebody accused.
yeah. I mean, if I got a prostitute, was she really having prostitution? If there was
Yeah.
no
I mean,
John,
well, yeah.
so I mean, was she
That's,
just in there just playing with herself? I mean,
yeah,
seriously, what? There's way too many fucking holes in this, man. Way too many holes.
it is. So you got that. You got what else? What else that we haven't followed through with? I mean, we haven't brought the cost of groceries down yet. Why is that?
Man, yeah, I don't know.
Dude, I went to Walmart today. I'll air out some of my personal stuff. Went to Walmart this morning, got 2 meals and a couple things extra, like bread, hot dog buns, and milk or whatever. I bought chicken wings and sauce and potato wedges and some queso cheese for one meal. And then I bought a bag of shrimp some linguine noodles, some olive oil, and lemon, and something for another meal. $166. I used to be able to fill my shopping cart before 2020 or 29 before COVID hit for $166.
And Trump will tell you how great everything is.
It's not.
No, I think we all know that, and I think that's what's great about General Flynn's letter is maybe that he'll see that. I'm still, and I'm not trying to give Trump no pass on this because he's the president and it stops with him. But we don't know what kind of information he's being given because he's not going to the fucking grocery store.
Well,
Nor
he
is he
needs
paying
to.
his grocery.
He needs
He does.
to.
He needs to. You're right. But people are giving him the information on what all this is, and that's what he trusts these people. And
Well, he
are
needs
they
to
giving
stop
him
trusting because they lying.
and
They
that's
ain't
what
got no
I'm saying.
morals. They ain't got no
Maybe
morals.
they ain't got no morals. Maybe he trusts General Flynn enough to where he sees this and it's published, on X, and everybody sees it, and he's like, maybe I need to look into this.
Well, is he that big of a? He is a narcissist. I'm not gonna lie. He's high on himself.
Trump?
He is.
Yeah.
So does he even care what happens after he leaves?
Yes. And the reason I say that is because it's his legacy. And people like that, if nothing else, they want their legacy to be something. And I think that's what General Flynn was trying to get at, is take a jab at his legacy and let him know, hey, look, yes, you're doing all this and you're doing that. And it might sound great to your people up there, but the motherfuckers that back you, the real motherfuckers that are sitting behind you, the 79 million, yeah, we're not seeing it, brother. Well, if you want,
yeah,
if you
they're
want us
not going
to
to have
think
to
of it,
worry about a botched election for it to go the other way this time. If he don't follow through and get this thing going, the Republicans ain't going to even have a chance.
no, because most of us, I mean, I'm an independent and I don't give a shit about the Republicans or Democrats. I am
No.
in the American First and the MAGA movement, period.
That's right.
I don't give a shit about the Republican base. I don't give a shit about the Democrat base. I don't understand. I understand why we have two parties. I don't understand why we have to be so faithful to these two parties. You can have your own goddamn opinion. You
Right.
don't have to just agree with everything that these damn parties say. And yes, this right here shows that we don't actually run the country the way it was designed to be. The people of America have really no say because we elected someone to get in office to do the things that he said he was going to do that we wanted done. He's not doing it. Well, who's stopping him?
Right.
It's either he's a liar, or he has no conviction. He doesn't have the conviction that we have in trying to right the wrongs that they did to him, or he's being controlled by somebody and it doesn't matter who the fuck we put in office.
Right. And that's just going to get us, like, for me, call me what you want. I just won't vote.
Exactly. And
I'll
that's
just say
how
I'm not putting my name on any of it.
And I'm glad you said that because that makes me sick because I wholeheartedly believe that my vote didn't count.
Right.
There was no reason for me to vote. My vote don't count. The electoral college, and I believe that just shitted on everything. That was my full belief until 2016. And I watched Trump go through all these damn debates, and I would laugh at him with his, because I always think that, every time we did his lips, I'd call it his butthole lips and shit like that. And I just thought, the way he was acting was non-presidential, and it was just straight fucking entertainment for me because I had no horse in the race.
It was like Ross Perot back in the day, if you remember him.
Oh, God. I want to go back to him because he was very good.
Yes, but no, he didn't have a chance in hell back then, right?
No,
so that's why I thought Trump was the same thing, was another Ross Perot.
Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly. So I'm watching this, and then, so I don't vote at all. And then the election comes in 2016, and I turn it on because at 10 o'clock, because I want to see who the fuck's going to win. And, and I'm watching that shit all night. I'm going till almost 2 in the morning watching this shit, like, because he won this state, and then he won this state. And I'm like, there's no fucking way in hell this man is winning. And he won this one, and he won this. And then all of a sudden he wins. And there's no way. I mean, this was David versus Goliath. I don't care how you look at it. It was. I mean, everything pointed to Hillary Clinton was just going to wipe the fucking mat with Trump.
Yep.
And that gave me the belief that, hey, look, man, your vote counts. And then first time I vote, for president since 1994 when I had to vote when I was in Japan. First time I vote for president, 2020. And we all know what happens in 2020. So I vote for Trump, and all this bullshit happens with, with the voting and all, and fucking, he loses. Well, he don't lose, but he loses. Right. So I'm like, fuck. So I spent all, all my adult life thinking my vote don't count. I see 2016. Oh man, vote, maybe this shit does work. So I vote.
Right.
I sign up to fucking vote. And the only thing that did was get me fucking jury duty now. So, so I vote in 2020. That vote don't fucking count.
Right.
And then I vote in 2024, and the person I actually vote for finally fucking wins.
Right.
And it still don't count because he don't follow through with everything he said he was going to do.
Right.
And now you get to a point to where you feel like your vote don't count again. I mean, I'm glad
Right.
you said that, because that brings my voting in just the last few years has been so up and down, because I didn't believe in the system. Then I believed in the system. Then I didn't believe in the system. And now I believe in the system. And now I don't believe in the system again.
Right. Right. And I feel like the first 4 years that he was in there, he was actually doing a lot of the stuff he promised he was going to do. More.
And then they wrapped him up in fucking
legalities, legal stuff and all that stuff. And it's like, this time it's like, why would you even care? Because you can't run for another 4. So just hammer the whole system, dude. Just go in there with a sledgehammer and take it out the most you can.
Something's stopping them. I really believe
nobody will ever forget your name.
Oh no! If he went in there and just blew it up, the American people would. I mean, we would build monuments.
Yes.
Because I mean, just blow that system up.
Yeah.
The problem is that system is so huge, and I mean, he is just not big enough to do it. You know, I really believe that. And
who was it?
Until we all wake up enough to where we can all stand together and quit fighting over, the crumbs, and say, hey, look, we're tired of fighting over the scraps. We need to band together and take this country back.
Bangino, what's the dude's name? Dan
Bongino.
Bongino. He's saying now that Trump has like a big crosshair on him. People are trying to take him out, like physically.
I believe that. I believe that's been the case for a long time, and I believe it's
they said it's worse now. Is what they're acting like. Like his life is on. So I don't know, but he was mad too. He was mad at Trump.
Everybody should be mad at Trump.
Right.
Whether it's right or wrong, no matter how much you love the man or what you think about him, he is not doing what he said he was going to do.
No.
Now he holds it hard. He's always said that, he's going to do this, and no matter what, he gets it done. That's what he does. The art of the deal.
Right.
It's not getting done.
No.
And he's the leader of the free world. And I mean, whenever you come out and you say you're going to do shit, like we believed him. He was he was the only politician we believed that when they said they were going to do something, they were going to fucking do it. Yeah. And he was showing that he was doing it. And now it's just, I mean, is he just
wasn't voted for because of his affiliate.
Oh no.
He was voted on what he said he was going to do. And to me, that's what makes him different. That's why I hold him accountable more than I hold George Bush or Senior or Reagan or anybody like that.
Because you hold them to a higher standard.
Yeah, because they came in as a Republican, like just your run-of-the-mill Republican, like a career politician. He came in under the Republican nominee, but under, like, I'm not here for politics. I'm here to clean this cesspool up.
Yeah, that's because the Democratic Party, I mean, he was a Democrat, but the Democratic Party wouldn't accept him.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude, he donated all kinds of money to the Democrats and all that stuff when, in the earlier years. And they all loved him. It's funny seeing the pictures of them love and like freaking Oprah and who else? Who's the Jesse Jackson? All them fools sitting there loving on him and then turn around and say he's like evil or whatever. Like, come on.
He the devil.
He the devil.
He the
He
double.
played the foosball.
He played the foosball.
Oh,
All right,
let's get into
let's
this
move
AI
on.
stuff.
So we're gonna move into AI. It's basically what we want to talk about tonight is the surveillance of the AI systems. And what got me thinking about this was going through Sam's and everything you pick up and put down and what you're looking at, they'll send you like what you call it, not sales ads, but like promotions or whatnot. This is on sale, basically because you looked at it. They know where you're at in the damn store, and then you can check out, and when you walk through, they don't even have to look at your receipt anymore because everything's AI. They know exactly what you got in your damn basket,
Right.
and that's creepy as fuck to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I would, see what the hell we had going on. And what I found is that they call it surveillance capitalism. So not only are they using it to make your life a little easier to get in and out the store, they're taking all this information and they can sell this information to other groups, that can use that to sell you something. So what it does in this surveillance capitalism, it turns user behavior into a profitable data. And they saying in 2025, AI processes billions of daily interactions across sectors. And this got us to where, and I read this the other day, the consumer versus customer thing. At one, we used to be customers when you can go into a store and people wanted to help you. They wanted to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you had everything that you needed. And so you would come back to the store. And so they wanted to make it an experience, whether you was going by a car, whether you was going by, a bunch of bananas, whatever you were going by, they wanted you to come back. That was that was the thing. That was the customer experience. Now we just consumers,
Mm-hmm.
and they're taking all this data to get more merchandise in front of you, so you'll buy more merchandise. So they just didn't know what you like, and it's pretty amazing on what they do. And I get, that of course, whenever you scrolling and you doing things on the internet that, you if you Google something
Mm-hmm.
that you might get ads from that and they know exactly and they buying all that information. I get that. What I didn't know is like it even tracks your mouse movement and how long your mouse is hovering over something. And it's so fucked up. Everything you do, if you got your camera on, is even worse.
Right.
But everything you do online is being taken in as data and is being sold. You are being sold. And then they're taking that information, processing it, and putting shit in front of you so you buy more shit. So they're
Right.
making money off of you to develop something to make you buy something. That is yeah. That is it's just wild. I don't get it. And it even goes as deep as those loyalty cards you get, then you swipe,
Mm-hmm.
so now they know what you buy. So now they can send you an ad for
Right.
exactly what you're buying. Hey, look, this is on sale this week.
Right.
They can text it to you or whatever, but because that's in your loyalty things, and they'll sell that information to someone else. All of that shit is they're making money off of your data. You're just a consumer. You're not a customer anymore. And that should scare everybody. Everybody. And it's just not the social media algorithms, it's everything. Anything you're doing online shopping, just shopping in the stores, it's creepy. And
What it
trust me, go ahead.
Zuckerberg from Facebook admitted, well, at first he said it wasn't, but then he finally admitted that there's voice recognition because you would be talking to somebody about something, right? Just me and you having a regular conversation. If we had our phones near us, next thing you know, you would get on your phone and you're seeing ads for whatever we were talking about.
Yeah.
How's that happening? Well,
Uh,
come to find out, your phone's listening to you and it's feeding data for them to get you to buy stuff like that, right? So it's it's crazy.
It's
I mean, that's
fucking
that's not crazy. It's scary.
It's very scary. And I mean,
Right.
if you end up with like Alexa, or if you got, anything you speaking into,
Right.
it's just scary. Your cameras all connected to the internet. If you have, cameras at your house and it's connected to, I'm sure that data's being. I don't have any of my cameras connected to the internet, but I definitely would not have any interior cameras connected to the internet. There's no way in hell I would ever do that.
Right.
It's just too easy for people to hack into it. And the government's going to be in it just because they can. It's not like
Right.
there's anything to look at, but there's going to be some creepy person, and it might not be your house, but it'll be some random person that some creepy person in the government that has access to this late at night is looking through your fucking house. You just can't make me believe these people don't do that.
Well,
Just
I
not
think
because they want to, just because they can.
right. Well, I think that they've actually used Alexa, which we have one in our kitchen, but I think they've actually used that to prove a murder case or a abuse
Really?
or whatever. Yeah, she was recording everything. She wasn't being asked to, but she was able to play back stuff going on in the house.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that thing's constantly listening. If it's on, it's sitting there. I know me and Holly's been having conversations in the kitchen, and all of a sudden Alexa will ask us if we want to do something. It's like, what? I didn't talk to you.
Because you're a consumer.
I know.
It's sad when you think of it like that, huh? You're no longer a customer, you're a consumer.
Yeah, we're
Well,
being controlled and manipulated at
you
all
shop at
times.
Walmart?
Well, yeah.
I know you have a lot of stuff delivered. That's why I'm asking if you still shop there.
No, I go. Holly delivers. I don't do that. I
Okay.
just go there.
The reason I'm asking that, the damn shoppers there that
Hmm.
shop for Walmart. I mean, I don't know how they are over there, but the ones over here, it's like you can't get them out of your way. And there's so many of them because they picking up orders for people that don't want to go shopping.
Right.
And that in itself is infuriating to me because, yes, I understand you working for your customer, but I am still a customer,
Right.
right? So please, don't run me over or, take up the whole aisle. You know what I'm getting at? You still
Right.
work at this store. I am still a customer.
Right.
But whenever I read into this and I seen, how they treat us as consumers now, it made us a lot of fucking sense. They know we're coming back. They don't need to, bring us back
Right.
because we're going back.
Well, yeah. The other thing that burns my butt is them stocking the shelves during the day. Like they used to do that stuff in the middle of the night when nobody was there, or even when they were open 24 hours. I don't know. Ours still isn't. Ours opens at 6 in the morning, closes at 11 at night.
That's ours. Ours is the same.
And but
I think that's because of theft. A lot of
yeah,
theft.
but I'm still saying the stocking.
Yeah.
Like they get a cart is one thing. Somebody just standing in the aisle staring at something, like this old lady today. She went over, she beat me to the milk cooler. And I was like, okay, I'll go over here and I'll get, you know, some Dr. Pepper zeros and some Sprite zeros and go back and get milk. Cause I watched her get in, grab a gallon of milk, and then shut the door and just stand there looking at her list. So I counted to like 20, 30, and she was still just standing there. And finally, she kind of looked at me. So I kind of looked the other way. I wasn't trying to make it look like I was like, get out of the way, woman. I'm trying to get some milk. So
But
I
that's how you
went down
feel.
another aisle, 2 aisles down to get my drinks, grabbed in, came back, and she was still standing there. I'm like, woman, what are you doing? Don't like milk, eggs, bread, certain crap is very common. Don't stand in front of that. Once you grabbed your crap, move.
You think she
It
knew
burns
she was
my
bothering
ass.
you, though?
But then another thing, you were talking about a shopping cart. I don't know where all this is at, but there was a video with a guy that was like, check this out. He went to a shopping area. It's got a scanner built into the cart. So as he's grabbing his food in the store, once it crosses, he doesn't have to like hold it a certain way like you do at the self checkout. Once he puts it into the cart, it scans it and it's got a readout thing like at the handle, like a monitor, and it tells him how much it is.
What you think that was in the Amazon Go? Because they got some Amazon Go
Hold on.
stores, and you just pick it up.
No, this dude was actually in a grocery store shopping, and he said, "Check this out. I don't know what stores y'all shop at, but this is I don't even know what store it was, but it was basically tallying his food as he was buying. Instead of you being surprised, I guess you could sit there with a calculator on your phone because most stuff isn't taxable, right? Most food isn't, but I guess you could semi know how much you're spending. But to sit, I don't know. I don't know about that technology because me and Carly and Holly were talking about it last night. Or no, me and Holly were coming out. I think we went to Costco last night after we went out to eat. And you had, same thing with Sam's. You have to go to that checkout thing, even though you got to show them your card when you come in. Now you got to scan the card. Costco has a scanner thing. You got to scan to get in. You do your
Huh.
shopping. You have to scan your card at the checkout in order to pay for your stuff. And then you got to show the receipt to the person leaving, and they got to look at your card and mark it off with a highlighter.
Oh
I mean, it's
damn!
like three forms of security here. It's like it's crazy. So
It,
I was like, they're going to get to the point, Brian, where you have a chip in your hand or whatever or in your body, and unless you take like meat or food into a bathroom and open it up and consume it in there, you're not going to be able to leave that store without it and scanning you and taking it out of your account.
well, you can't leave Sam's and shit right now. With, I mean, they know what you purchased,
Right.
and they know what's in your cart. They know what's on you because it's all AI in there, and you don't even show your card when you walk in the store anymore. You just
See, we
walk in the
don't do
store,
Sam's, we do Costco.
and then I mean, you only have to use your card when you check out, and then
Right.
when you leave, they don't even look at your receipt anymore because it's all AI. They know
Oh, okay.
exactly what you paid for.
Well,
It's
I guess
weird as fuck.
Costco. Yeah, that's scary. Well, and so is that. I remember seeing the commercial, and this was like 10 years ago. I'm wanting to say it was like between 8 and 10 years ago. There was a TV commercial of this dude going into a store, and he looked like a thief. It was a white dude, so we're not going there. But it was just funny how they portrayed him like in a black hoodie, and you know what I'm saying? And he just had that thief looking thing, and he goes to the meat section and he puts two packages of steaks and tucks in his pants and puts his hoodie over it. And he goes and walks out the store and it scans him and it says, "Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for shopping here. $64.83 was taken from your account. Enjoy your food."
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
was that they were promoting the technology that they had. It was a technology company promoting that we have the ability to do this, where stores don't have to worry about keeping a eagle eye on people stealing stuff because it's going to get as soon as they walk out any door in this store, it's going to scan them and deduct it from their account. Even say they're broke, they're going to be in the negatives.
Well, even when not charging them, they do have the security in a lot of these stores now with AI where it scans your body and it'll see anomalies. So,
Yes.
like if you stole something or if you're carrying a gun or whatnot, it'll see those anomalies and it'll, not that carrying a gun in there is illegal in some
Right.
places, but it'll at least let the security know that, hey, look, this is a possible threat.
Right.
So I mean, it's there. Not it's not there with the chip just yet, but it probably ain't fucking far.
Right.
Or maybe not even a chip. You might have to register a card or something, and just walk through it. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. All I know is AI is here. Something we got to
Yes.
deal with.
Yep.
There's a lot of things I like AI for, but there's a lot of scary shit. And it's just like with anything, you get something with the wrong person, it's just going to be bad. And a whole lot we can do about it. And the
Oh yeah.
thieves and the crooks are always going to be ahead of the good guys. So that's where
Yep.
we're at.
Yep.
All right. I want to talk about the big three: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. The people that pretty much, the companies that pretty much run everything.
Right.
Uh, these passive, quote, assessment managers oversee trillions in index funds, holding top stakes in 88 to 100% of the S&P 500 firms, banks,
Mhm.
media, and even each other, creating concentrated power. They control the boardroom influences, by having it, say if they own, let's just say if it's even 12%. So if they own 12% stocks in one company, as long as they own the majority hold, they have a seat at the board table, and they have the controlling seat at the board table because they're holding controlling stocks. So that gives them a lot of influence on whatever the company does, and that's all major companies. It seems like in this country, so that gives them a lot of power. They swing a big old bat, and there's nothing we're going to do to stop that. And they fund all sides, so they'll fund Coke and Pepsi, and so they can't lose. They fund everyone, and if you don't go along with what they say, they own the banks too. So you might not get that loan. Oh, you didn't want to be, all inclusive and LGBTQ and DEI. You don't want to do all this stuff. Well, hell, we just won't give you any funding.
Right.
We won't allow the banks to give you. They have you by the balls. They hold what it was. Let's see. BlackRock has $12.5 trillion under management. $12.5 trillion. Vanguard has another 9 trillion, and then State Street has 4 trillion. Collectively, they hold 20 to 25% of the U.S. market cap between them three.
Right.
And the debate is, I mean, is this legal? I mean,
Yeah.
does this go against antitrust lawsuits? And they challenged it, and it's just legal. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. So why is this a huge issue? Well, in my opinion, eventually they can control everything. And when I say everything, I mean your wages. If
What's funny when you look, I'm looking these people up. I've heard of them, Brian, but I'm not going to lie. I didn't know a whole lot about them.
uh
The State Street does say that they're like a financial deal, kind of like banking or whatever. But then BlackRock and Vanguard are more asset managers.
Mhm.
That that's vague. I love that. You really don't know exactly what they are.
No,
They just own a lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
they're very powerful.
Who is it? I mean, I wonder who's behind them.
Well, I don't know all the State Street. I don't think they have a CEO. I think they have like a board. BlackRock, the CEO
Larry
is
Fink.
Larry Fink,
Larry
and I
Fink.
don't
Yep.
remember who Vanguard is. But these people, they wield a pretty big sword, and they can. All right, let's just say all. I'm sure your company. I know my company. I think is with Vanguard, and I'm sure
Yeah.
your company has one of these that's buying into them too because it's a pretty big company. So let's just say that they have seats at all these boards and they decide they need to make more money and they want to control the wages. Well, slowly or abruptly, if they change the wage system within certain companies, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go somewhere else? They own that too. You know what I'm getting at? It'd be very hard to find a job outside of a local company that's not affected by these people. And even if you are a local company, depending on where you're getting your loans from, you could still be affected by these people.
Yeah. BlackRock is. I just looked if they were invested in our company and they own 5.44% of our company.
Yeah, probably have a controlling percentage of it.
Yeah, they do. As a major institutional investor in our company.
So you have these big three, and what do they give you? They give you the illusion of choice. Now, that illusion can go away at any time. They can actually make it to where you don't have any choice. So I guess the illusion is better than nothing. The other thing that they can do is the housing market and everything that they buy up. If they outprice for the average person where they don't want you to live, that means you got to live in certain areas and they slowly move you into those areas. Now they control exactly where everybody stays. I
Holy
mean,
crap.
it sounds far fetched, but it's not.
Vanguard's got 7.23% of my company. They're both.
And
Is
then
this
those
like your
companies,
Rothschilds? And remember how we were talking about the elite families or whatever?
I don't know who all's into this, but no, from what I read, no, that's not the same. I mean, these people, they just it's asset management, you know, and it's a bunch of people that buy into it. It's a stock, it's a traded stock, so it's
Yeah,
not
no, it's
owned by one person.
I've never understood that business though, asset management. It's like we're going to manage your asses and I don't
Well,
know, it's just crazy. I know
so
people need investments in order to get their business off. You know what I'm saying? To get it going and just kind of like people going on Shark Tank. I guess that'd be the easiest way for me to put my mind around somebody investing in you like that, right? That gives you that
well,
investing
well,
money for you to be able to grow your business.
well, in your yeah, for like our say my business,
Right.
we want you know money for development. Okay,
Right.
well, so we want to do research and development,
Right.
and you have a controlling interest in our company.
Right.
Okay, so you need how much money? I need $1 billion for research and development. Okay, we can give you $1 billion, which would come from their banks. So
Right.
what they'll say is, are you deploying X, Y, and Z? Have you done this, this? If you meet all this criteria, then we'll allow the banks to give you this. If you don't meet this, then we're not going to allow that.
Right.
They're controlling. There are ways that they will definitely control you. And Larry Fink, I watched an interview with him, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically what it entailed was to get your people in line. And it was back in 21 or 20 when they were trying to, get everyone to get COVID vaccines and do all this other stuff.
Right.
And basically what we were saying is, you got to get all your people. We telling our people, you have to do this. You just got to get in line.
Right.
And it's like, what? You know, and this is the guy that at the top of BlackRock.
Right.
And when I was telling you about Davos, I think it was last week or the week before last, you see all these big people, and we are basically nothing to these people. I
Right.
mean, we are. I mean, I don't even think when they look at laborers, I don't even think we're a laborer to a lot of these people. We're just in their way,
Right.
of what they want.
Mhm.
And that's a problem to them.
They want
And
robots.
yep. And they don't want us to be the robots. They want actual robots and they want
Yeah,
us gone.
yeah, that's what they'll work towards is AI generated machinery that does whatever they're told to do.
So I was looking into this and, I was like, maybe I can be off course because, hey, they don't run the government, right? They don't control the government. And people say that, corporations don't run the government, but are we sure that corporations don't run the government? In the
I
past,
think it
powerful, go ahead.
I think it's all one thing a lot of times.
The corporations and the government, like
Yeah.
combined
Yeah, I think it's just intermeshed.
because of the lobbyists.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about the pack. Our company has one. You know what I'm saying? We have a
Yeah.
pack that they ask us to donate to in order to lobby.
Yeah, get campaign funds and shit like that.
Yep, to pay off politicians to vote for certain stuff for us or to push. I'm not, to me, that's bribe money.
I think lobbying is just straight bribery, but it's legal bribery, so there's nothing I can do about it. Maybe one day we
Yep.
can vote it out.
Yep.
But as of right now, it's legal. So I think
Yep. I don't know how to go with that one, so I'll just maybe later down the road we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. I just don't. I'm not contributing. So
all right. So we had powerful groups that have tried to take control in the past.
right.
And so I was looking into this, and there was an issue back during the Great Depression. FDR was looking at what it was called the New Deal, and he was trying to bring in things to make it better for the middle class Americans. We were suffering during the Great Depression. He was going to tax the rich people, and they didn't like that. So what they decided to do was they were going to start a coup, and they were going to take the government over themselves. So they decided. You remember Smedley Butler? They told us about Smedley Butler in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
He was the highest decorated Marine back then, and he was a famous retired general. And these corporations went out to Smedley Butler, and they were using wasn't the veterans? It was the American Legion. They were using him through the American Legion, and they were going to try to get a following. And
Mm-hmm.
the end goal was they were going to make a private army of veterans of about 500,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
500,000 veterans, and they were going to march on Washington, and they were going to not take over the presidency. They were going to allow FDR to stay as president,
Right.
but he might not be, doing all of his role because they'll blame it on his polio, for why he couldn't do his job.
Right.
And why were they so mad at FDR? Why did these rich people want to get rid of him so bad? And FDR took the U.S. off the gold standard. And that money, our money wasn't tied to gold anymore, which made bankers and investors lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Then the government started creating millions of jobs through programs that built roads, parks, and dams, spending that business leaders saw as wasteful or socialist. And then there was new rules that cracked down on Wall Street tricks and separated regular banking from risky investing, which was the Glass-Steagall Act. There was labor reform, and what I said earlier, where there was taxes on the wealthy. And the people behind this were big name people, J.P. Morgan and Company, the DuPont family. There was executives tied to General Motors, Remington, Goodyear, Standard Oil, and a wealthy heir to the Singer sewing machine fortune, and a brokerage firm called Grayson M.P. Murphy and Company, as well as other big Wall Street players who hated the New Deal rules. So the person that stopped it was Smedley Butler. He was a war hero that veterans loved and trusted. A guy named Gerald McGuire kept meeting with him and first asking Butler to push for going back to the gold standard, then later revealing the full coup idea. Butler hated big corporations using soldiers for profit. He even wrote a famous book saying war was a racket for the rich. So he pretended to go along and just gather info. And then he exposed it when he told a friend and other veterans what was happening, and then had proof like letters and postcards showing the plotters were studying fascist groups in Europe for ideas. And then he went to the House Congress and he testified in front of Congress and all this other shit. And all of this came out. And none of us are taught any of this shit. Nor did any of these fucking people go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, the people, they said many newspapers called it fake or a gigantic hoax at first, especially ones friendly to big business. Then after the committee report came out, some admitted something shady had been discussed. And historians say today most agree wealthy businessmen were angry enough to talk about extreme ideas and maybe even throw some money at them. But it probably wasn't a serious, ready to go coup. It was more like rich guys complaining over drinks that got out of hand. Still, it shows how scared and angry some powerful people were about FDR trying to fix the economy to help regular folks. That is just fucked up. I mean, that right there shows you how much control that the corporations back then even wanted to have over the country. And I believe now through the lobby system, and it might have
Hmm.
even stemmed from something like this, they were able to gain what they wanted back then without having to take 500,000 soldiers onto DC and take over the country forcefully. They
Right.
just own it legally now.
They do. Man, anybody can tell it's money. Money runs everything because you got like the unions, they're the both parties are always going after them, the Teamsters or whatever. You got all these people that they're trying to get endorsed by. Why? If the electoral votes and all this stuff and your local elections are all votes of the people, then why are you so into special interest groups? Because they have pull. And how do they have pull, Brian? They don't. I mean, I guess union workers could tell their people how to vote. You know, if you're in a electric union or plumbing union or pipe fitters or whatever
Well,
type of
I don't,
union.
I don't even know that. We don't have many unions around here. I don't know of any, except for the plants. And I don't know any of that because I didn't grow up around here and where
Right.
I live now. But back home, I don't know of any unions. But I remember when Trump was going through the campaigning, he would go to these union areas and all these
Yeah.
union people would show up, but the union boss wasn't going to vote for him.
Right.
So, do the people that run the unions actually follow the people of the union what they want?
I think it's a mindset. I know some union guys or whatever, and I'm like, one of them is this big burly dude, and I was giving him, I was talking about Trump or whatever, and he was like throwing shade that Trump was going to kill the union and all this stuff, and I'm like, so you going to vote for that drunk woman? And he goes, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, how in the heck are you going to vote for that idiot? I mean, you want that person in charge of our country or the spokesperson. They're not in charge.
Yeah,
We'll, they have some pull, but Congress and Senate and all that are the ones that usually make a majority of the decisions. Now, yes, they have executive power and can write those executive orders
I
and
don't
all
think
that
any of them
stuff.
make decisions.
I don't either, but he was still willing to vote for her because of the union concept. And I'm like, I'm not going to be part of something, Brian. Like I said, I just won't vote. If neither candidate up there, it represents me the way that I think, not everybody's perfect. Okay. So does a majority of what you say you're going to do line up with my beliefs and my morals? If it does, you got my vote. If it doesn't, I'm not voting for you. And if the other idiot over there is the same way, I'm not voting for them. But you get these people, Brian, that it's not the person, it's what that party affiliates, right?
We just talked about that earlier tonight. Is
Yeah.
people just followed the party and it
Yeah.
don't
The
make any sense.
Republicans could put Elmo as their primary candidate and people would vote for Elmo
Yeah, I
because
see.
Republican is tied behind it instead of what Elmo stands for, or Elmo is not fit to be the president of the United States. But that's who we nominated. So if you're a Republican, you better vote for him. No, I'm not. I'm not voting for somebody just because of their political party.
I'd seen something. I say a lot that we're too comfortable in this country, and a lot of us are just too comfortable, including myself. I'm too comfortable, and that's the whole reason why we don't fight back.
Right.
But I seen something earlier this week. It was a video, and it was a guy talking about when he first got out of college, and I don't know what the hell he done. He's some kind of psychologist or something. I don't know. Anyway,
Mhm.
when he got out of college, he worked on Skid Row in LA, and he was trying to get homeless people into housing, and he felt that he was going to change the world. So he said first time he went knelt down to a guy that lived in a cardboard box, and he was telling him, "Hey, look, man," and he said, "I can get you into housing. I just need this." And he said, the guy said, "Man," he said, "I appreciate you wanting to do." He said, "But I'm good." And he said it took him 6 months to figure out why the homeless people didn't want to move into housing. And he said it wasn't so much that they enjoyed being homeless, but they just got comfortable and content on what they were doing, and they didn't want to go through the pain of having to move into housing.
Right.
And he said it's like that. He said now he works for some firm in Beverly Hills, and he said, but it's still the same. He said there's still people trapped in these cardboard boxes. Not so much, figuratively cardboard boxes, but people in life get trapped in, proverbial cardboard box because they're comfortable in that
Mhm.
cardboard box and they don't want to go through the pain of moving.
Right.
And that hit me is like, that makes a lot of sense. And it even makes a lot of sense in what you was just saying about people just voting, or like we were saying earlier, people just voting the party line. Is
Right.
they're comfortable, and they don't want to feel the pain of disagreeing with somebody that they know, or looking into something different, or just doing something different. They don't want to go through that little bit of discomfort. They just want to
Right.
stay comfortable. And it's sad, but
Right.
that's one of the things that this country gives you is comfort. What are you going to do? I mean, do you want to just be uncomfortable all the time and have to fight it? Fuck it. You fighting everybody anyway every day
Yeah.
online about dumb shit, you know?
Right. Right.
So I don't know, but I don't know if that made sense to you, but it opened my eyes up to like, yeah, no, that's a good analogy, and it come from his personal experience.
Mhm.
Oh, all right, last thing I want to talk about tonight is they talk a lot about men and women and being equal, and they always refer back to what was it, Billie Jean King tennis match, and how Billie Jean King beat the other tennis player that was a man, but what they failed to say was that guy was, he was a 55-year-old retired man when Billie Jean King played him. And all right, tomato, tomato. So they redid it again this year. On December 28th, they redid the Battle of the Sexes. And it took the women's world number one, Arena, I'm going to try to say her last name. She's 27 years old. And she went against the men's 670th ranked Nick Kyrgios. I don't know. I can't say his last name either. Anyway, he's 30 years old, and they modified the rules. So there was only one serve per point, and then her side of the court was smaller to reduce her coverage. All right. So they made it to where it's a little easier for her than it is for
Mhm.
him. And he dominated 6-3, 6-3. Wasn't even close. They said they were highlighting the power and the speed differences despite the handicaps. Now, this is 670th ranked man beating the number one woman's player. So
Mhm.
when I was looking at this, I also found that there was some high school soccer team. It was an elite high school soccer team that beat the women's national team soccer team. And they said it wasn't even close. It was, I don't think it was like 4-1, but they said the score doesn't even show how,
Dominant. Yeah.
much, yeah, how dominant those kids were. And I'm not saying this to belittle women. I'm only bringing this up so we can all understand that there's a major difference between a man and a woman biologically. And
Mhm.
having a man in a woman's sport is death to women's sports. You
It
just
is.
cannot do that. It makes no sense to do that. If women could compete in men's sports, there would be no need for women's sports,
Right.
right?
Right.
And we should never allow a man to compete in a woman's sport,
No.
especially individual sports. Once you open up Pandora's box and you allow men to keep competing in women's sports, you're not going to have a women's sports anymore. And that's
Right.
just not fair to women. It's
Right.
not. You got anything to say on that one?
Yeah. Way to open that one up for the end. Just get me in trouble. I just, we all need to understand our place of what God created us, right? I didn't choose to be male. My wife didn't choose to be a female, but she is, and I am. And we just need to embrace who we are and live in that and be the best version of that we can be and stop trying to compare ourselves to one another. That makes
Yeah,
sense. That's
it
how
makes
I look at it. She's got a job to do and I got a job to do. And I'm not going to sit there and say that her job is to do laundry and cook and clean and tend to the kids. And my job's to go out and work and hunt and chop wood. And you know what I'm saying?
but there
But
was a time that that was the rules.
that, yes, it was. And there was a time that worked.
Right.
And I
And
think,
today it's a little
yeah,
different.
it is. But I
That
think
doesn't change the biological differences and stuff,
I think
regardless.
that's the reason why wages are jacked up the way they were, because women wanted to get into the workforce and wanted equal rights and all that stuff as men or whatever. And like, there's a big difference between what I get paid and what my wife gets paid. But there's a difference in our responsibilities too that we do, because I'm pretty sure they would pay a guy the same wage as her to do her work. And I know that they would pay a female the same wage. We've had female supervisors in my uh, work area, and I know they make the same. They don't differentiate because of that. But there
Do you
are. g- Go ahead.
do you think women wanted to get in the workforce, or that they were brainwashed into thinking they wanted to get in the workforce?
I think it started with like I think there was rallies or whatever that started. I think somebody got offended or butthurt about where they think women were being held down and like the servant of the home, they were the man's servant and all that stuff. And even to the point where when you read, that God created Adam, he created man, then he created Eve as a companion. Old biblical text or whatever said it as more of a servant, like, and now they make sure that they really emphasize a helper, that God created Adam a helper, not somebody to serve him, but a helper. Like, let's not let's not make it look like however he created her. But the Bible also states that the man is supposed to be over the woman. The man is responsible for his house. The woman isn't. But the man is supposed to love his wife like Jesus loves the church, and that's a lot of love. You can't even explain that love. So you're supposed to treat your wife with respect and love and hold her high, right? And not belittle her and talk down to her and all this stuff. But you are responsible for your home. You are the one that's supposed to make decisions, but you are supposed to be in prayer and guidance from God over that too. So, that all depends on how your home is structured. I don't I've seen this stuff with like WNBA. You got the black girl and the white, that Caitlyn girl, the white girl that's
Yeah,
real
Caitlin
good,
Clark.
Clark, and then the black girl that's kind of her nemesis or whatever, and the back
Oh
and
no,
forth.
I
And
don't know about nemesis, but yeah, she's a thorn.
she's a thorn to her or whatever. And they're back and forth all the time and verbally. But they don't bring in the revenue anywhere close to what the regular NBA brings in.
No, the NBA still subsidizes the WNBA. They don't bring in
Yes.
any money. The
Okay. They
WNBA.
probably lose money.
Yeah, they don't make a profit. Well, they
Yeah.
haven't. And I don't know if last year with Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark was the only reason they were even selling out any arenas. And that was the
Right.
first time they sold out in the arenas was last year.
But I bet you could take like a whoever wins the men's championship,
Like
like the
the March
NCAA
Madness.
tournament.
Yeah.
I bet
Yeah.
you could put them up against any WNBA team and they'd smoke.
Yeah. I think you could probably put a top high school team, like a AAU team,
Yeah, like a
And
4A school, like
yeah,
the big schools. Yeah.
well, AAU, like the traveling teams, and where they pick guys from
Oh,
multiple, and
handpick them. Yeah.
yeah, maybe one of the top schools might be able to, because I'm giving them some kind of credit, the WNBA. I'm not going to say they're not professional players, because they are. I mean, they ball
Yes.
players, but no, they're not men.
They're not men.
And no, and that's the whole point. It's
Right.
and I can't say the feminist movement, I think, just fucked up women. I really do.
It did. I think it hurt them more than it did them good.
I think it did, because I mean they had a good thing, and I'm not going to
Yes.
say being there and just, I'm not going to say some of them wasn't beat and some of them didn't have a chance to get out of what they were already in, and because they didn't have the skills needed. I agree with that. There were some women that got fucked, you know, literally in that situation, and they
Mhm.
needed a way out, and they so yes, if you want to work, I agree with that, but I don't think you should be in the face of women and saying that you need to have a career. You don't need to have a career. You just need someone that would take care of you, and you take care of them.
Right.
I would be a stay-at-home dad in a fucking heartbeat if I could.
Right.
I'd clean the fuck out of this house. I'd have dinner
Yeah.
ready every goddamn day. It would not bother me one fucking bit to stay here all goddamn day and just clean the house and fucking take care of shit at all.
You know
Even when the
what's
kids were little, I would have done that.
you know what's funny is TikTok once again of people putting shit on there that they shouldn't put, and women on there putting bitching about, that they don't work, their man works, but their man expects them to have the house clean and all that stuff when they get home and all that, and they're sitting there bitching about it, right? That's a job too, taking care of. When he gets home, he should have to take care of these kids because I had to take care of them all day and blah this and blah that. And it's like, listen, you're 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 a stay-at-home mom, so that's your job. Okay, you're doing your job for X amount of hours. He's doing his job for X amount of hours. When he comes home, you don't just get to say here and shove the kids at him. Now it's a 50-50.
Yep.
You both should be taking care of them. And
I
I'm
was thinking
sorry
the
that
same
you have
thing.
to continue doing your job for 50% of the time when he gets home, and he doesn't have to do his job for 50 unless he has like a trade or something he does and he has to come home and continue doing that at home, right? At something at his house. Maybe he's a trim carpenter or a electrician or something, and he's got to run some wiring in the house. He's still doing his job. I mean, let's not get down to that, but it's funny. I always go to the comments. That's where you get your popcorn out, not the video. Go to the comments. That's where you get to see the funny stuff. And you'll see dudes that I guess were in between jobs at one time talking about how they were stay at home dads for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it ain't that damn hard. They would sit there and straight up say, in 2 hours, I could have the whole house cleaned vacuum, mopped, dishes done, what laundry was done, take care of the kids. It was easy, a lot easier compared to the jobs that I have away from the house. It
Yeah,
wasn't
because
that damn hard.
it probably didn't take them long to figure out a system.
Yes.
If I do this, this, and this, I'll have the kids done at this. I'll do this, and fuck. Now I'm sitting down watching soap operas at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, but a lot of these women didn't want to, they just want, woe is me, or whatever. And stop whining.
they just do it.
Embrace your responsibility and just do it. Be the best person that you can be. Just kind of like, this is kind of weird. Just go with me on this. You remember me in the Marine Corps? I was skinny. I didn't have a whole lot of upper body strength. That's why I didn't like going and lifting weights with you and all that, because I didn't see any. I wasn't making gains. But anyways, but I could run. I wasn't built with upper body strength. I was built with lower body strength, and I could run like the Dickens. I didn't sit there and try to go lift weights because I wasn't built for that. I was built to run. So that's what I excelled in. And that's what, in my PFT, that's what pushed me over the top was my run time and my sit ups. I could knock those out. It was the pull ups that killed me. I did enough to get by, but my high PFT score was from sit ups and running. So stop trying to be good at something that you're not good at. Excel what you're good at. Now you can try to improve, what you're not good at, but stop trying to do stuff that you're just not built for. If you're built for this, just do that. Stop worrying and stop trying to compare yourselves and be like somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not intending to take up for him, but I'm gonna kind of take up for him. Well, I'm not gonna take. I'm gonna even give him an excuse. I think it's more on the line that you're told you can do anything that you want, and and in essence, you probably can, but you're not gonna do it great. You know that you can be whatever you want to be. They tell you, or you listen to all this shit on social media. You should have this, this, and this, and they start believing into this shit. But
Right.
what they don't understand is the amount of work that goes into being something. If you want to be good at something, it takes a lot of fucking work, a lot of fucking work. And then you're just good. You're not great. And some people just don't want to put in the work. You know, whether you're good at running, you didn't know you were good at running until you started running. And then you
Right.
started running more, and you started
Right.
running more, and you got
Right.
better and better and better. People nowadays hear that you can do anything. So they feel they just put a little effort into it. Well, I put a little effort into it. That is supposed to work. They're not
It does.
understanding the amount of work that it goes in. Everyone sees your success. No one sees all the fucking failure that you had. You
Right.
know, all the bumps and shit you went through. They don't see all that. They just want to be where you're at now, in most part. It's like,
Well,
no, you got to have all this shit with it.
I remember in high school, there's a girl that I've went to school with since I was in kindergarten, right? I dated her a little bit in grade school, the little puppy love thing or whatever. She ended up being Miss Kentucky basketball her
Yeah,
senior year. That's a pretty she top basketball player in the state of Kentucky.
pretty damn good.
Okay. We played some one-on-one in between basketball practice and wrestling practice in the gym a couple times. Both times I smoked her. She was about 6 foot tall. I was 6 foot, 6'1", and I was not on the basketball team. I was a wrestler. Now I would play basketball like some pick me up games or something. You know what I'm saying? Some scrap games or whatever, play arounds, whatever you want to call that. I would play. And well, you remember we used to play basketball there at
Yeah, we play pickup.
Del Toro. Yeah, pickup basketball or whatever. But it, didn't have to be that good to a good male to beat Miss Kentucky basketball because I had more physical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was just built bigger than her.
Yep. Yeah, it don't take
I could
much.
jump higher than her. So when she would go up for a shot, I'd block her crap. I was scrappier than her. I was stronger than her. I was just naturally that way. And I wasn't really a strong dude. I was in shape, but I wasn't like built. I wasn't all muscled up.
Did you get a ribbon for beating Miss Kentucky?
No, I didn't get nothing for that. I didn't get no accolades for that. So I get some bragging rights. I mean, if she heard this, she'd probably be like, "No, he didn't." No, girl, I do. I know. I can picture us at what goal we played half court. We're not playing full court one-on-one, but I
No,
know
I
I
think
can take you to the gym right now and show you
I'm about to say,
exactly where we were at.
no, y'all need to bring it back to the court, and y'all need to play it out again. Got
Yeah, I'd probably
got to
hurt
play it out again.
myself. You were just
All
dreaming,
right,
Jason. But anyway, you know what I'm getting at. It's just stop. Just stop. Women,
I
just
agree.
stop.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week, guys. We'll
Yep.
continue to pull the thread on the control of the U.S. and the elites in the weeks ahead. I'm planning to put a few more of those together. I hope you enjoyed the show.
I did.
Like, share, follow, subscribe. Got anything, Jason?
Nope, I'm good to
Any
go.
parting words? All right. Well,
Nope.
thanks for tuning in, guys. This was the Sense and Senseless podcast. I am Bryan.
And I'm Jason.
He is Jason. Peace.
Peace.